All right, welcome back. We're going to carry on with chapter 9, and this time we're going to talk about the creating an instance of a coin toss. What we want to do is think about what the object can do, what it needs, what its parameters. So we have to really think about what a coin is and what a coin can do. So we're focusing specifically here on creating an instance of a coin that we can flip a coin. And when we flip a coin, what is that? What are some of our things that we can do? So when we create an instance of this, we could create an instance in our class that accommodates whether or not we can use the coin for spending, which would be a method because it's actually an action. But I don't really need that for flipping a coin. Another thing we could do is make we could test to see that the coin is made of different materials. Well, for flipping a coin, that's really not that important, but that would be like a property member of that particular coin, or it has a different value. Of course, it really doesn't matter what the value of a coin is for flipping it. Has a different picture. Again, I don't really care about the pictures, but we could store different pictures. The property of that particular coin might have a different picture. It has a different dimension, which again could be a property, or has a different weight. But what I am concerned about for this one is I want the coin to be able to flip. I want to be able to flip a coin, which is an action, so we'll set that up as a method, and that's a method member within the class. And then we also have to determine whether it's heads or tails. So we want to really think carefully about what the object is, and then look for all possible members that we might want to code to create that new instance of that object. All right, so here's how we would actually write the code for this, where we'd say there's the reserved word class, and then we're going to give it a name called coin toss. And with a coin toss, we have a field which we're going to keep track of what sides it is up or down. And so we're just going to create a regular declaration for a regular variable type or field because it's directly underneath the class here. So it would be considered a field level variable. And then from there, we're going to create something here called a constructor. Now, constructor is a method. You can tell that by these brackets right here. And it also has the same name as the class. Because when we create and instantiate a new instance of this object, we set up a new instance of this constructor method, which actually does something, and it creates the object. So what are we doing in here? Well, we're going to utilize our new field that we just created by assigning heads to it. So we're going to default by assuming that when we create an instance of this coin toss, that we've got a field called size up, and we're going to default it to heads. It has to start with something. Just like if you were flipping a coin, there's going to be either a head or tail there when you start flipping it. Now, there are two other methods here. There's a void and a value return method that set up for this example here, which is basically just going to say whether it's going to be display its side up, which would display heads, and then this would just return whether it was heads or tails, when in fact this class only does heads anyways at this point. So we haven't really taken it much further than that. So you can see here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 members inside of this class. This class here can store a field. It can be constructed and assign a value to the field. It eventually is available to use a method here called toss when we create an instance of it. So now when we look at creating an instance, given that the class named coin, you can create a coin object using, so this is my new class that I just created. And I'm going to create a new instance of this up on my memory called my coin. And from there, I'm going to create an instance of a new coin class up on the heap called coin toss. Now, if you remember, the coin toss bracket was the name of the constructor. So this is what actually is constructing up onto the heap a new instance of this coin object. It's going to load in the field and assign heads to it. And that's it. So I've just created a new instance of this object here called my coin. So this is a variable that's referring up onto the heap to this new instance of this object right here. And if I want, I can now I get access to all those methods. And one of the methods was called the toss. If you remember, my coin is what I created, and then toss is the method. And we can access the methods and all the different members inside here.